Hey guys, this is Master Kevin Foong. I just thought that this is a great Friday night, and it'd be good that I just have a quick chit chat with you guys. How are you guys doing? Good. Yeah. Okay. So tonight, what we're going to be talking about is now in the current context. Now, because I've been receiving a lot of these questions, almost every other days, our consultations are filled. Right. So there's a lot of people wanting to get clarity what to do in this current context right now. So apparently in Singapore, we have just went on a 2 weeks, I think, to 1 month extension to 1st of June. So subsequently, I also heard that in Malaysia, for Malaysia students, right? So I guess there's also another 2 weeks extension. Now, so the key questions would be, how about taking this time to really figure out what are the things that we can do and we can take control, rather than just sitting down there, going Netflix away, and spending all your times away. So today, just seeing more of you guys logging in. Okay, so drop me a comment if you can hear me well, just to know that the sound is doing good. Right? I'm actually having this set up from my house, so if you can hear me, so just show some of the comments that you can hear me pretty well. All right. So once I can pick out your comment, I'll be able to interact with most of you out there. All right. Are you guys able to hear me? Okay. So, okay, cool. Hi, Alex. How are you? Good to see you guys again. Okay. So you see, one of the few things that we can know that in terms of Chinese metaphysics, okay, so how is the world going at right now? Now, coming at close to, I think that was 2019, November, okay, I did a post on my Facebook post, and what actually happened is I did mention about there will be now a lot of people has been asking, can you accurately predict a COVID-19? The answer is no, but you can actually look at a chart that, because this year is the year of the matter rat. Now, when you look at the matter rat year, you do know that when water is coming into the year itself and the element of matter is coming into place. So what that actually translate is there will be infectious disease transition, right? There's a transmission that'll be going on. That'll be one of the things that we'll be looking at. Now, of course, having said that, when you actually do get a transmission like that, can we really tell it's going to be global? No, we can't really from the chart, but we do know that as of 2019, November, we're going to be entering a water cycle. This is what we say, right? So when the world actually enters a water cycle, a lot of things is just going to be, there'll be a lot more fear in the market, right? People kind of want to know, market economy has been going up. I mean, we have been pretty bullish for the last 10, 11 years. A lot of people is asking, is the Great Recession coming or what, right? So, and of course, given that the COVID-19 has really pushed this forward, so 2019, I actually mentioned on my Facebook post, there'll be a lot of possibly fatalities. They got to do with if you look at diseases, transmission of diseases, right, worldwide, and that is the first sign coming from November. Now, of course, today, I just want to be discussing in the current context, there's no point saying that, okay, so does it mean that once the stay at home is going to be over, everybody and everything will be back to norm? Now, of course, as you can see from the current repercussion right now, the market is reacting, the stocks market is going down, oil price is coming to all-time low. The quick answers is you are not going to anticipate that things is going to just come back to like normal within just 1 month. So then what are the signs moving forward in terms of Chinese metaphysics, right? So just like to give a shout out to some of you guys, right? So today's session, I'm going to break out into two. The first part is looking at the context, what's about to come, and what way can we do from here, right? There's no point saying that, we are all hit with this stay-at-home order. And I'm pretty sure right now, the last thing that's going to be on your mind is just going to be Netflixing, throughout the whole 2 months. I just don't think that is productive for you guys. So instead, I actually prepared quite a bit of things to share with you guys. Probably I can share a bit of my screen here. Okay. So, right, you see, so I've actually prepared quite a bit of materials that you can actually look at assessing them, okay, in a while, right? So all this is technically, it's got to look at the direction of your parts chart, right? So if this is the first time that you're joining me, thank you and welcome on board, right? So I was just giving you a bit of guide, and because technically if you look at what are things that we can be doing from here, there are some good directions that you can be looking at. I just thought that this is a good time I can help as many of you to get more clarity, to really do what you guys to plan forward, and not just wait for things to happen, right? So where most of you logging in from? Singapore, Malaysia, right? Just drop me a message, yeah? So it's good to have this mutually interactions. I mean, we're just going to be having this home setup for a very long time. So feel free to give your questions, interaction, right? So hi, Francis. Good to see you. Francis is one of our school instructor academy. Glad to have all the instructors supporting. Hi, Pang. Hi, Alex. Haven't seen you for a while, right? So we have Jackson and other instructors with us. We have Anne, we have Tang Lee, right? Jasper Ong. Hi, CK. Most of my instructors is with us tonight. I'm very glad to have you guys on board, right? So if you can just help me to like and share the post if possible, because when you help me to like and share, it can actually help to reach more people, and I can actually give them more directions of what to do in terms of metaphysics. If you can look at 八字, right? What can we be doing from here? Hi, Brandon. Haven't seen you for a long time. Good to see you guys. Hi, Lo. Hi, Cecilia. Right? Okay, so if you can help me to like and share the post, okay? So doesn't matter where you guys is coming from, okay? I just thought that this will be the best time for me to reach out worldwide, right? So as many people as you can help, just help me to share the post and like on the post, and this will help more people to come on board to kind of really understand 八字, right? Thanks, Jasper. It's been very much appreciated. Okay, so let's look at a few things that we'll be looking down here, right? Now, before you guys actually begin, if you already got your Bazi chart ready, that's perfect. Now, for some of you, if how many of you out there are your first time looking at the Bazi chart? If this is the first time, just raise your hand, right? Just have an emoticon, raise your hand. This is the first time that you're looking at the Bazi chart. You're not sure what's going on, right? So I know what are some of the newcomers, and some of them are practitioners. This is good. Then we can explore on the practitioner level as well. In fact, for all the practitioners and the students that we've been having, your next session with me will be coming out next week. You'll be receiving emails from all of us. That is, we were discussing on a much advanced level. But for most general of you out there today, I'm just going to give you some very good indication, right? If this is the first time, thank you so much. Right? Thanks, Ming Lee. Thanks, Desmond. Thanks. Hi, Benjamin. Right? So if you have technically not looked at your Bazi chart for any time at all, so this is what I can get you guys to do. Now, what you can do is you can go to mybazi.info, right? So strictly that is mybazi.info. So maybe I'll just punch it in for you guys. Okay, mybazi.info. Now, so technically, when you are at the website, you can create a new account. If you don't have an account, it's free. Okay, so you don't have to pay a single cent for accessing this app, right? It's free. So if you have already got a Bazi chart ready, that's good. If you don't have, try to get a copy of it. I mean, you can do this for your families, your friends, relative, right? Because today here, I just want to consolidate as much people as possible, so we can be passing words around on having a clear directions of what's going on, so we can all stand together, right? I don't think this virus can pull all of us down, and you're just going to be all doom and all gloom, right? So there must have been ways of how some people, in fact, it's we have consultations with some of my private clients. They are making huge investment out there, right? In fact, we look at opportunities there. You get a lot of people buying properties right now, okay, at very cheap sale, right? Auction sale. Some of you will be looking at it. So, of course, for the general, most of us here, right? If you've been working, right, some of you maybe out of jobs, okay, or some of you have been asked to take a no-pay leave. I've been quite fortunate to be able to keep my team right? Of course, there's also a lot of support coming from government as well in terms of keeping them on the payroll, right? So okay, so this is first thing first is try to get my Bazi chart.info, get in, okay? Craft out your Bazi chart. Now, what actually happened is this. Now, when you actually get on to the chart itself, okay, you'll be able to see a bit more things, right? So you see, when you are technically at a budget calculator, this actually profiles out your whole chart, okay? So of course, coming right now is why is all of this thing happening? Why are we all being pushed, to study a new work environment, to do things that's definitely totally out of our own comfort zone? I know some of you has been meeting sales or doing your sales outside. You have to meet clients, you have to meet people, and then all of a sudden you have to stay home, right? And we do get a good amount of real estate, properties agent, financial advisor, right? It just doesn't seem there's a way for you to get across. So there's actually more to go about doing it, okay? It's just to understand what are the options, okay? So first part is we will discuss is where is this going and coming from here. So now, technically, as we enter the water year itself, we'll be entering water year, and the second wave of water year will be coming on December this year, right? So if you look at December this year, so technically what happened is this is going to go all the way to 2021, right? So like it or not, that is an energy transition we're going to look at. But of course, having said that, some people is asking, is there going to be a control over the current COVID-19 situation? Now, if you look at, I'm not going to give you a prediction of what's not. We're just going to look at the Bazi chart itself to understand what are the timeline that we possibly could be looking at. So first and foremost is if anything were to have even a slight containment, I'll be looking at sometime in end of June to July, right? That's basically around the first sign. Now, if you look at things like containment, it doesn't mean that the virus will be completely gone away. So it could be in a certain manner that the virus could be under control. Now, if you look at China per se, now China actually got this contained, I think, within about 74 days. Now China has pretty much opened out to the whole world. Okay, of course, they are still close border is only open out within their inter-cities. They're still trading. Okay, some of the cities opening up. So plus minus, we're going to look at if we are really going to deal with this seriously. Of course, right now, one of the key advice is staying at home is actually one of the best things you should be doing right now, because you surely don't want to expose yourself with this risk out there. And of course, tomorrow, right, if I'll be coming on board with you guys, I'll be talking about, in terms of Bazi chart, what are the signs that you'll be having. If you have this kind of sign, then you better jolly well please stay at home, because in terms of the sign, it's easy for you to get infected, right? So this is something I want to get you guys protected. Don't even take risks, okay? So that's some of the things that we'll be looking at, right? So now, if you look at the, once you generated your Bazi chart, okay? So some of the few things that we'll be looking at is this, okay? So in the Bazi chart, if you're new to this, of course, we'll be looking at day masters as whatnot. Now, today, I just thought, because a lot of you may be beginners, okay? So I just get you guys started first. I'm not going to go too deep, right? So some of you are students and instructors with me. Of course, bear with me, because we'll be going through a high-level training with the instructors and students that's coming next week. You will get an email from my team that we're discussing on a much higher level. But even though you can probably benefit from this session, I'm trying to keep it very easy, short and sweet for you guys. So very simple is this. Now, when you plot your chart, you need to be keen in your date of birth and time. So this has to be your English date of birth and time, okay? Don't worry about the Chinese date or what's not, because the software actually get this translated, all right? So that's the first thing. Now, some of you may not know the time, but in today, just running for the quick guide, it's actually okay if you don't know the time, that's fine. But of course, if you really want to be doing a serious reading and what's not, you really, by right, you need the time. But because today, I actually make the guide easy for some of you beginners to understand. If you don't have the time handy, that's fine, okay? So now, before I begin, just to know that you guys are following me so far. If you are following me, just give me an emoticon or just give me a yes, okay? Just give me a yes, so I know that you guys is following me. I'm not just talking to myself, right? Okay? So just get the comments coming, right? Don't be shy. I think we'll be looking at each other pretty often for the next at least at least for me, it'll be to 1st of June, right? Most of us will have to stay at home, and I still will be finding a lot of ways to keep you guys engaged. Okay. Hi, Marilyn. How are you? Okay. So keep your yes comment coming just to make sure that you are following me this far. Okay. And in fact, some of you just join me. Do help me out a bit. Help me to like and share the Facebook live session, because what I'm going to be discussing here is going to be helping a lot of people to understand what is the direction to move forward in 2020. And I thought that's very important, right? So if you want to be moving forward, a lot of us, in fact, it's lost. I've been doing at least 7 consultations a day, right? Of course, we'll be using Skypes and what's not, but the thing is, a lot of people is, at the crossroad right now. You have completely no idea what you want to be doing, all right? So one of the fastest way is we can take a look at your date of birth and time. That will, in fact, give you a lot more things to know the direction that's upcoming, okay? So that's one part of it. Okay, now, as much as I was saying that, where is this going to take us, is I kind of foresee that I think the virus situation will be plus minus probably to 2021, but it's good to know we probably get some sort of containment roughly by June, July onwards. Okay, in fact, China is under control. We're hoping Singapore, Malaysia, other parts of the world is going to get a grip on the cycle, get it contained, and that way, at least that things is going to come down to a norm. But of course, you don't expect things to go back to what it used to be. Okay, simply because of this. Now, currently, if you have studied Feng Shui, okay, if you've not studied Feng Shui, it's fine. We are previously in period 8, right? Now, when you look at period 8, what are we talking about is this. In the period itself, now period 8 talks about the earth energy, okay? So earth energy technically deals with everything up to 2024. So from 2004 to 2024, we are in period 8. Okay, but there's a transition. In fact, the transition has started since 2017. We're going to head to period 9, right? So now in period 8, it's all about, because it's the element, so it's all about stability. It's all about blooming of properties, blooming of economies, and this is a lot of things that comes into period 8. And if you're going to look at period 9, it's going to move out to a fire energy, right? So some of you, if you're a study practitioner, period 9, we are actually talking about the Li Gua, right? So Li itself is fire energy, right? So fire energy is talking about what? So fire talks about communication. Fire talks about technically IT, infocom, okay, lightings, okay. So like it or not, it just kind of felt that the world is pushing us towards this direction in a way where we are not ready to do with this yet, right? In fact, a lot of the business is not really to get online. But yet right now, as you can see, some of us, we have to, be taking our sales process online. You have to be doing things like building more leads for your companies, getting things up like ClickFunnels or what's not, right? In order to get everything functioning. And because of that, well, we have to say that this may be the norm, right? For at least the next few years. So what happens if you are not equipped, okay, with skill sets, right? Are you going to be still of value to your employer? So that's some of the questions I always be asking. Now, when I was working with other people many years ago, I always tell myself this: it doesn't matter who I work for. The first thing is I have to be providing more value than whatever the company has to provide me, right? Because when you are so valuable, it's almost you can always say that there's no reason that the company will drop you out, because you're the most valuable person in the company itself, right? So bringing value on the board is some of the key skill sets you guys have to be focusing on. So that's the first aspect. So the mindset is technically important at this point in time. I know some of you, while we are having it easy at home, some out there has been struggling real bad. Okay, we get stories whereby people lost their job and they couldn't make ends meet, and even some help from the government may not be good enough to last them throughout. So that's one aspect of it. Okay, so technically right now I would say take the time. You have to be learning new skill sets, whether you like it or not. Okay, you can't be sitting down here and then says that, hey, you know what, after by 1st of June, they're going to lift the stay-at-home order and everything is going to back to norm. But you see, the repercussion that is to come in the second wave is going to be, I think, more serious, right? In terms of the economic crisis, we're already in a recession. Okay, so right now it's either you pick out this time. Come on, 2 months, 1 month, 2 months is a good time to be learning things. I mean, we all taught ourselves things what to do from time to time, right? A lot of us, you may not have gone through, formal university education or what's not, but these days it's the internet era, right? When it's internet era, there's so many things you can be learning out there. You can be doing YouTube, you can be doing your Facebook. You see, even right now, this session, I can deliver to so many thousands of people, okay, right? And I can even have this hosted on YouTube and whatever platform. So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys is don't be afraid to test out technology, okay? So that's the first thing that we're looking at, because technology is going to be the way to go in period 9, and period 9 officially starts in 2024, okay? So it's a period of 20 years. So 2024 all the way to 2044, but there's an early heaven transition. If you have been new, now we look at early heaven and later heaven. Early heaven talks about 2017 onwards. Really, we starts the transition of period 9. Okay, so other sessions I'll be sharing you guys on feng shui. Right? Some of you, if you are keen to learn feng shui, I already branch out all my live session. So every other session, you'll be sharing different things with you guys. How many of you are keen in feng shui? Just help me to drop a me, right? So let me know that you're interested. If I get enough response, I will do another live on another day just to talk about the subject of feng shui, right? So just to keep us in track. So this time, I want you to be learning new skill sets. So if this is something new to you, welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for spending time with me. I mean, this is a Friday night, and you guys is here on a nice evening, and I just want to make sure that your time is not wasted. Okay, so I guarantee you get a good session. At least at the end of it, you'll be getting good directions, right? Okay, cool. Wow, that is Joanne. Just give a shout out to you guys. That's Joanne, that's Felice, Vaughn, right? So we have Cecilia, Doris Pang, right? Thank you. If this is the first time, thank you for coming on board. This is just the beginning of what we'll be doing in our series of in terms of Chinese metaphysics. Now, one thing that if you have followed my Facebook page for a while is when I talk about Chinese metaphysics, I came on a position of an entrepreneur, right? I never believe so much in buying stuff. Okay, I never believe so much in buying lucky items and what's not. So you probably will not hear me talking any of those. If you accept those kind of schools or lineage, no problem, right? But it's just what I've been teaching people all this while for a long time. Okay, so today, without wasting too much time, okay, and let me just get into, so the first part you will understand, right? So you have to get equipped technically with your skill sets, right? So if at the end of this 2 months, you have learned nothing, and you're only, still on your Netflix, I think the problem is not lack of time, might be lack of discipline, okay? So that's something that we have to trade a bit for it, right? So let me just get your new skill sets in this time, okay? Those that just join me, please help me to do a share and like, okay? So when you do a share and like, and this will be reaching out to so many more people, so I intend to keep sessions like this free, okay? So if this is the first time that you're learning Chinese metaphysics, welcome on board, all right? So, okay, that's the first thing that we'll be looking at, right? So now, if we look at the, in fact, I've also prepared some things for you guys to download later on, okay? That is, I've actually prepared a whole PDF guide for you guys if you're a newcomer, okay? I just thought I'll probably share it a bit on the screen itself, okay? So the whole PDF guide it has been done, okay? So I will talk a bit about technically getting a directions in 2020. Now, currently we're almost reaching May, all right? So in May, we have technically 7 months, okay? Maybe 8 months, 7 months at best. Now, you don't want to waste this 7 months, because 7 months itself, if you're going to wait until the government leave the order and then you're going to start to do your planning, you might be too late, because in fact, a lot of people, I believe, or even the competitors right now, are already making their move, right? So I don't believe in only making the move at the very last stage of it, okay? So that's the first part, right? So when you look at this, I just want to be discussing a few things. So look at your Bazi chart right now. When you be looking at the Bazi chart, you'll be looking at, technically, let me just blue this up a bit, okay? So, right, okay. Let me blue this out a bit, okay. Okay, let's see, okay. Can you guys see this, right? Okay. So when you are looking at this chart itself, what I might be looking at is this, okay? Now, if you're new to your Bazi chart, that's fine. This is your day master, right? I'm not be talking too much about day master today. This is technically your Chinese astrology sign, okay? So if you're, you know that you are Cancer, Libra, you know, Sagittarius, that's a Western sign, right? If you look at Chinese, this is your 5 element, any one of the 5 element. Other episodes, I'll start to dive into the 5 element so you can pick up more information about that. Today, I just want to get you guys close to 2 things. Knowing what to do for 2020, I think it's important. We still have a good 7 months onwards, okay? So in 2020, technically, if you look at it, there's always some energy that's coming in, right? So as a practitioner, how do we actually read the chart? Is we look at what are the stars that's coming in. Because we look at the stars, you will do know that there will be energy that influence you to make certain things, certain decisions. So example, you could have been unhappy working in a work environment, okay? And you almost reach the brim of a limit and you're going to say that, you know, this year, whether I like it or not, after COVID-19, I'm just going to change my job, all right? So why is that happening? Why is it happening only this year? Right, that you want to change your job and not every other year, because that's how we look at it, right? You look at the annual energy. So the annual energy itself in 2020. So of course, this is just the guide that I'm putting out here, okay? By right, all of you supposed to be looking at your own chart. So if you have not got your own chart, right, you have to go to my Bazi, okay, .info, right? If you're not getting it again, I'm just going to put it out to you. It's mybazi.info, okay? So get into your own chart. All right. So make sure that, you know, technically when you go to mybazi.info, okay, what you want to be doing is you have to plot your own chart, because if you don't have your chart, looking at my examples does not help you. You have to look at your own chart, and at the same time, you want to be plotting chart of your family members, because who knows, you know, you might be watching this, your spouse, your husband, you know, may not be able to tap onto this today for whatever reason. He could be working, right? So you can at least make some plans to help them to understand what are the directions moving on from here, which I thought that's very important, right? So now when you look at this itself, is technically in 2020, you do get some energy. I have helped you guys listed it out. It's technically under 2020 elemental stars, okay? So if you look at 2020 elemental stars, you do see that some, you know, there's some signs here, okay? So if you can't see this on your phone, can you see the screenshot clearly? If you can, just drop me a yes. So if not, probably have to blow up full screen to, I mean, some of you guys are using mobile screen, right? So it might be a bit too small for you. Can you see it clearly on the slides that I'm showing? If you can, just put yes, okay? So if not, then I'll just go full screen to make sure that you guys are getting it. Okay, just input it in the comments. All right. Okay, you can't really see it. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I'll do. All right, so full screen now. Is this good enough? Okay, is this good? Yep. How about now? Right. Okay, let me know if now this is full screen. Okay, so now if you go into the full screen mode, but if some of you can't see this, it's okay, because I have already prepared slides for you. Okay, there are slides for you to download, so you can go back later on, right? So I'm now changing it to full screen, so where you can actually be looking at a chart that I'm putting out here. Okay, looks good? Yes. All right. Of course, it may be a little bit pixelated, yeah, but don't worry, because technically the guide that I've been putting out for you guys, you'll be able to see it in a while, right? So I will teach you guys how to really download the slides itself. Okay, so very simple as this. All right. So when you look at 2020 element, this is one part of it I want you to be looking at. It's you look at this part, right? That is okay. The 2020 element is this, right? So that's your 2020 elemental energy or stars. So this is something that you want to know, because these are the stars that's going to come into 2020, right? All the way a cutoff into 2021, plus minus, right? Around February, plus minus, right? So if you know technically how to tap onto this information, it already give you a head start, right? So you don't want to wait until things happen to you before you kind of go into it. So the first thing that we'll be looking at is this. It's relatively quite simple, right? So technically, there is a few stars that's coming in, right? All of these stars is coming from what we call the 10 God, right? So technically, if you look at 10 God, there's 10 different stars right now. So you should be having a mix of two. So like in my example here, there is direct wealth and 7 killing on this person's chart. So then you have to look out for the 2 stars. What are the 2 stars tells you, okay? So if you look at the 2 stars, that it's, you know, trying to give you the energy that's coming your way. So first and foremost is, let's look at your stars that some of the stars I'll just go through with you. Now, if you have the stars that is friend or rob wealth, okay? So that's the key thing. If you have stars that says friend or rob wealth that is inside the blue box, that means if you look at your Bazi chart, you have any of these 2 stars, okay, that's inside, all right? So that's one of the stars energy that's coming your way. So if you're looking at that, you have to kind of realize that this year, it's all about social circle, okay? So whatever you'll be doing on this year, you have to expand into a social circle, whether it's skilling up, learning a new skill sets, getting a new mentor, finding partnerships, okay? Or even, you know, things like technically, if you want to be forging new collaboration plans, you have to be working with people. So that's the first thing you want to be looking at. If the stars is friend or rock wealth, right? So that's technically the first sets of stars you're looking at. So total, there is 10 stars, all right? So easy to get this part, just the first part, right? So before I go on to more parts, the first part is easy to understand. If it's easy, just help me to drop the message. Just say yes, okay? If this is the first part that you're getting it, because there's a bit more coming. Okay, so some of you, if you just join us, right? It's so if you're seeing so Helen, yours, if you say it's rock wealth, okay. So example, Helen says that she sees RW, that stands for rock wealth in 2020 elemental stars. All right, so that means that that's one of the stars you have been reading. You have to read rock wealth. Okay, so it's not that difficult to understand. Yeah. It just wants to tap into your Bazi chart to know what are the stars that's coming for 2020. The chart itself will help you to find the stars. So if you don't have access to the Bazi chart, again, you go to mybazi.info. It's free, create account, okay, plot your date of birth and time. You can't do that now, it's okay. Just tune in to the instruction first, because later on I will send you guys a guide, all right? I'll give you guys a guide on how to get access to all of this. It's a PDF file, so you are given the step-by-step instructions for you guys, so you're not missing anything else. So right now, probably it's just good to listen and understand. I think that's good enough, right? It's simply one of the best way that I think that I would love to spend my Friday night with my groups of friends, yeah, my Facebook friends out there, right? Okay, so back to the screen sharing. Okay, so I'll just put out the screen sharing. Okay, so if you are looking at, technically, let's say we look at the second stars, you're looking at herding officers or eating God, all right? So you will have to understand that herding officers and eating God, this is what we call the output stars. So output stars means that this year you have to learn to put in a lot more effort in whatever you're doing, okay? So some of you could be having the herding officers. Now, herding officers, certain times, it just means that you actually got very, very busy. Expect to be very, very busy for this year. Okay, that's especially so for the herding officers. You're just not going to be stopping anytime soon, but we don't want to be busy for nothing. Okay, so you could be having a lot of plans that is on the table. A lot of people talk to you about starting different things and what's not, right? I want you to kind of re-strategize and look at, measure effort at the end of every month. How are you moving on from here, from all that busyness? You just don't want to, be busy for nothing, okay? Right? So the herding officers, right? Technically, if you're looking at that, it's all about effort to produce wealth, right? So this effort will not go down the drain if you're making sure that this later half of the year, you're getting yourself all prepared. Okay. In fact, herding officers or eating God, right? So how many of you have eating God? Right? Any one of you got eating God? So just put me. Okay. So if you got eating God, just key inside the comment me. Right? Now, if you just join, I see some of you just came and joined my live session. Thank you. Right. So today, if it'd be good that if you can help me to just like and share the post, okay, share the Facebook live, because whatever we're doing here is going to help a lot of people. I'm doing this for you guys free, right? So it's something that I've been doing for our training for a very long time. Okay, so I'm doing for this guy free. Okay, so this is coming from Adrian, right? So just feel free to give me comments from time to time. It's okay, right? You're not interrupting me, because sometimes I see comments, I'll be forecasting, right? I'll just put it up in front of the screen so everyone can understand. So now this is coming from Adrian. So Adrian was saying that, wow, very soon for my herding officer, too much thinking in the mind and execution. Yeah, so this is the interesting part about Bazi, right? So if you study the 4 pillars of destiny, I've been doing this for a long time, right? I've teach thousands and thousands of students worldwide, right? So if you look at the stars itself, it will give, okay, first and foremost, you need to understand where do all our thoughts systems come from, right? So for example, you were probably taking a shower or you were just watching TV. Suddenly you think of something. Aha, I want to do this. Aha, I want to start a business. Aha, I want to quit my job. Aha, I probably wants to, stop going out with the girl, whatever. Why do you suddenly get a certain, concept that's in your mind, right? It's because of the energy of the planets, right? So energy of the planets that's revolving around us. Okay, so technically, if we look at that, it's going to influence us in certain manner. So the key mechanics of Bazi is it allows us to understand the mechanics that's going to influence us. And of course, if you know it first, then what's going to happen is it can turn into the outcome that you want. But what happens if you don't know it, right? So example, this could be a year that you're going to get in trouble with the law, right? And then you got challenged, and then you say, let's just do it. Okay, and for all you know, you got caught, and that you do hear that some COVID-19 people was getting out of their house when they were supposed to be slapped with a stay-at-home order, and then there was this guy who got caught when he was only left 31 minutes, and then he's going to be charged. You see, where do all of this thing come from? It's not for no reason, right? So that's one of the things is when you study Chinese metaphysics, you study Bazi, it allows you to kind of get a grip on the situation so you know what is about to come. Okay, so that's for herding officers, right? So your comments is good, yeah? Just keep your comments coming. If you've got questions later, I'll give you guys a Q&A so you can ask your questions. I'll answer a bit of questions, okay? So whether it's herding officers or eating God, there'll be a lot of thought system coming into the mind, right? So you want to be doing this, you want to be doing that. So suddenly it's like, where do I start first? Should I be doing this part or, part B, or should I be starting a business, or should I be doing the marketing? Should I be doing the advertising? What is it? Or should I be changing my job? Okay, so that is one part of it. And herding officers is interesting is because now herding officers usually sometimes, will make you feel that you are not pretty happy in the current work environment. But at these times like that, I would say don't be choosy about your job environment. I mean, a lot of corporate companies have been trying so hard to keep their staff. Okay, so if you still got a job, you are very lucky, right? So what's next is you have to think of how are you going to bring more value to your current employee so that there is no reason to get you out of the company, right? You're like the last one on their strike list. Okay, so that's for herding officers. Now, if we be looking at example, okay, so let me look at some more examples that I'll be putting out here. Okay, so technically, if you look at the, let me just change my slides a bit, yeah? Okay, so if you have the direct wealth and the indirect wealth, okay? How many of you have direct wealth or indirect wealth? Just key yes inside the Facebook, right? So I know that you have been looking at it, right? Okay, so you have direct wealth and indirect wealth, right? Okay, so now, okay, don't look at the percentage part, yeah? So I know some of you is looking at a percentage part. When I tell you guys to look at the element, you only look at the box, the blue box that says elemental star, 2020 elemental star, okay? So good, right? So you don't look at the percentage. The percentage is talking about your characteristics, your perspective, your weakness, your strength, right? So don't look at the wrong part, right? Always look at the 2020 elemental star in the blue box. That's one part of the information that we're going to discuss today, okay? So cool. So seems like quite a lot of you has the eating god, right? So yeah, right? Okay, so good amount of you. So example, Frank was looking at 80% herding officer and 45% ending god. This is not what I'm talking about, yeah? This part is looking at the 10 god structure, right? That's only for characteristics. What you want to be looking at is technically only at the direct wealth, okay? So if you look at your direct wealth right now or indirect wealth to see that if you can find this inside your 2020 elemental box. You see, the key things about wealth star is usually when you were to get a wealth star coming in, you bound to have a lot of opportunities to make money. Okay, it doesn't matter it's direct wealth or indirect wealth, but of course with direct wealth, sometimes you say that you probably go have a new job offer, right, or stuff like that. Okay, new sources of income is very much possible. Now the indirect wealth kind of look at things that is coming from investment, right? Things that is not coming from work. It's not so much about the work environment, right? But of course, if some of you are running businesses, okay, I'm pretty sure some of you are running businesses. Any one of you is running businesses out there? Yep. Okay, you're running businesses? Yes. Okay, so if you're running businesses, just drop me a yes. Okay, so if you're running a businesses, then indirect wealth stars is important stars to you, because indirect wealth stars technically talks about how your business can go into expansion. Now, of course, a lot of people is saying that, but in such time, is it wise to expand at all, or why? You see, now it depends on what is your industry or trade. Of course, right now, if you're going to talk about oil and gas industry, we all know that it got hit with an all-time low. Right now, it's like $10 a barrel for oil, and may go even lower than that. Okay, because the whole world is taking a break. No one is utilizing crude oil at this moment right now. Okay, but I'm pretty sure that if some of you have already started using a bit of IT, right, infocom technology, you probably already had a head start. Guess what? Everyone is at home now. Okay. In fact, I was doing a live session for my inner circles group of people, and I was able to reach like every one of them was able to log in, right? Even in those weird hours. Okay. So you literally have the attention of the whole world sitting with you right now. Okay. So some of you are saying that, then how do I be able to command attention? And okay, in this current environment, it's not about being perfect. Okay, some of you will say that, oh, I don't have a recording studio like you, I don't have this and that. You don't have to go down that direction. You don't have to have a recording studio. All you have to do is, all of you have at least a mobile phone, right? And your mobile phone comes with a camera. Okay, it's more important to be putting out your thought systems out there, letting people understand that what can you contribute to them. Okay, so for example, if I'm doing insurance, I'll be talking about what are some key practices, okay, to get ourselves protected at such times. Okay, so a lot of this information you're putting out there, they are not going to nobody. It's going to create a lot of attention later. You see, every time you're going to create attention, you're going to gain trust, and once you gain trust, people kind of see you as an authority, and then they be much more willing to come and deal with you or buy stuff with you. Okay, so you need to establish yourself to be an actual authority by just being out there. That's all. Right, so some of you has been going into this overthinking mode. I need a studio. I need to do speaking. I need to know how to speak properly. You don't have to. You see, every one of us. The fun thing about Bazi is you do have at least 60% of people who will kind of tune into whatever you're going to say. Okay, like it or not. But of course, you will have a good 20% who will hate you for whatever you say. There will always going to be haters. So your attention is not going to be on the haters, but work on those that's willing to give you their attention. What can you give of value to them, right? So if you've been an accountant, right, teach people best practices. You can record sessions like that, best practices. So that's the part about indirect wealth stars that I taught, that if you have this part, if you don't have business, it's fine. Indirect wealth stars means that this year, you will have to start a side income, a sideline, right, or side gigs, whatever, right? That's the way to go, because if you're going with indirect wealth stars, you're not going to depend on just your normal source of income, which can be coming from your work. Okay, you have to look for ways, right? And by right, if I talk about ways, I've got 1,001 ways that all of us, we are built with skill sets, so we will definitely be able to know, what is about to come for the year. And of course, when you know what sort of skill sets that you're equipped with, you don't change, right, overnight. Some of you is like, oh, I've been doing this for last 20 years, and then instead of the last 20 years, suddenly you go and change to a different industry altogether, totally doing nothing of that. I don't believe in that, because why are you wasting that 15 or 10, 30 years of experience that you had, right? So naturally, some of that bulk of the experience definitely can be going towards in terms of contributions, in terms of giving value to people that's from your industry. I'm pretty sure of that, right? So one of the fastest way would be tapping on what you already know and not tapping into something completely new. Now, when I talk about using IT and technology, or even getting on Facebook Live and what's not, this is just having a platform to speak to, that's all, right? You don't need the perfect platform. You just need to be willing to share, okay? So if you have things like direct wealth, okay, so this is coming from Zhenping, right? So it's okay to keep your comments, yeah? Just keep your comments coming as and when. So once I see your comments, I'll be able to revert on that. So when you have direct wealth, it just means that this year, okay, you need to control a few things, right? So the first thing that you want to be controlling is your expenses. Now, I'm not saying that direct wealth is not a stance that you can make money. You can make money, but it also means that you have to trim all your unnecessary expenses. See, the fun thing about WealthStar is this. Every time you're going to go through WealthStars, there will be episodes that will need you to spend. So example, you get some last minute emergencies. People is asking, for help, with money. And in fact, in times like that, you probably will get that even more often, right? So you need to control the amount of outflow now. That's important, okay? So everyone has been telling you right now, cash flow is king. So that's what the government has been doing. It's been putting some money, although it's not a lot, but some money in your pocket just to give you cash flow to tide by. Okay. So anything that's not necessary right now, you probably would be cutting them. But of course, some of you, if you're looking for the best time for cheap resources, cheap assets, this is the time. Okay. You don't always get a period, right? Every like 10 years or 11 years, you do have a Great Depression, where you have to wait like the only time where there's a lot of fear in the market, where people is doing a lot of reckless decisions, throwing their property for cheap. So that's the time that you will want to pick up something. This is, of course, for people who's already cash rich, or you're sitting on pile of cash, waiting to take action. Okay, so direct wealth stars would means that this year, technically, first, you trim your wealth expenses. Second, there is also a good chance for you to grow the income. But direct wealth star income usually means it's likely going to come from work. There's a very good chance it's coming from the work environment. So if your current environment, your salary is fixed, there's no way to go about getting it. That means you need to create something additional that is going to be frequent and of stable work nature. So example, you can do things like giving a little bit of training, okay, in whatever you know that is almost like starting another side gigs altogether. This is also a direct source of income, okay? So for business owners, indirect wealth is one of the stars that you want to be paying attention to. Don't waste these stars, because once you waste it, you're probably going to wait for a couple of years before it's going to come by again, right? So the next, if we're going to be talking about is, let's look at these stars where it says officers, direct officers, or 7 killing. Okay, so how many of you have this direct officers or 7 killing for your chart this year? Just give me a yes, so I know how many of you, and I probably can address that. Okay, Lim, don't worry about the PDF. Later I'll give you instructions how you're going to get a PDF file, right? So it's okay. Okay, so don't look at the percentage. Yeah, again, when I'm talking about all of these stars, I'm not looking at the percentage. Percentage is only looking at your characteristics and strength. Okay, so you're going to look at this box here, the 2020 elemental stars. Look at what do you have here. Okay, because I'm going to give you the focus and direction for 2020. All right, so if you have this, then it's easy, right? If you don't have this, then you're looking at the wrong place. Okay, so look at the blue box, because some of you is looking at percentage. The minute you look at percentage, then you're looking at the wrong thing, right? Percentage, you are talking about characteristics. I'll do that in a separate episode, okay? So if you're keen to look at your Bazi chart, I'll do that in a separate episode. So look at that. So again, how many of you have your, officer stars, direct officer, okay? And your 7 killing. Sounds very scary, right? So we look at 7 killings. It's always like a scary stars. Not necessary. Sometimes 7 killing can bring us good amount of wealth, okay? So what we are looking at is if you have the direct officers or 7 killing, first and foremost, you will realize that this year, you seems to have to be able to face a little bit of the unusual stress factor that's coming in. It's not your usual level of stress. It seems to be a little bit more than usual. So in the last few years, it was like you are living your life fine. Then suddenly this year, you do get a bit like how come certain things is not moving your way, or you're facing a little bit more resistance. Then you will realize that this is all because you do have officer stars that's coming, right? So it's either you have a direct officer or you have a 7 killing. These are called officer stars. Okay, so when you have this sort of stars, you will notice that there will be an increment of stress factor coming in, but not all of this stress factor is bad. You see, these stars may push you up to do more things. Okay, so example, if you are being given an opportunity to be promoted, okay, so if you're looking at opportunity to be promoted, right? So does that mean it'll be giving you more stress? Surely, naturally, yes, right? So that's one of the things that you will get along, because when you have officer stars, first and foremost, you will have changes in your work environment, like it or not. Okay, so if you're staying put with your work environment, expect there will be certain job scope changes. Maybe you have to be transferred to a certain department. Maybe you have to be working overseas. You have to take out overseas offer. So that's the first sign that is coming. Okay, and officer stars usually also means that there is a lot more opportunities to earn more money. If income is your focus right now, then officer stars is one of the stars that you need to pay attention. But this sort of income is not, I wouldn't say it's easy money. All right. This sort of income, technically, it's more of the money that you have to be trading something off for it. Okay. So like if you take out a higher position role, then this other year you have to take advantage of it. Okay. So normally it's like that when you have officers or 7 killing, right? Direct officers or 7 killing. 7 killing, you do want to pay a bit more attention because it can be a little bit life-threatening. Okay, so that's especially if you got 7 killing, I probably don't want you to step out of the house at all. If you can just have takeaways, then get takeaways from your home and not to risk going out and getting yourself infected, because 7 killing sometimes is a star that's going to deal with more things you have to deal with, right? So the last thing you want is getting infected right now, and you will also have a lot of your family member to look after you right now when everybody is already having a not such an easy time. Okay, so officer stars, good to have, but it's also a stars for you to pay attention. But usually if you grab some of these opportunities, this is the best time to be going up and then up the ladder, and then you will probably not come back to your last position. Okay, so whether you want to take the position or not, you got to look at that. Okay, here's the thing: if you say you're not going to change your job, then you will be forced to change certain job role within the same work environment. That is one of the signs you'll be looking at. Okay, so that's if you are looking at your officer stars, right? So, and of course, let's say the next stars I'll be going through is the direct resource or indirect resource. How many of you have a direct resource or indirect resource? Look at the blue box, yeah? Okay. How many of you have the direct resource or indirect resource? Okay, so maybe before I move on, I'll take some of the questions, right? So Zhen Ping was asking, should we use our lunar or English birthday? No, just use your English birthday based on the birth cert. It's good enough. The software will do the conversion. Okay, so just use your English birth time. All right. So and then we have Mike Ang. Is that Mike? Mitch? Sounds like Mitch, yeah? Mitch Ang, right? So there is two box. There is two stars in the box. Doesn't matter which come first. Technically, if you look at the stars that's on top, that'll be the first star you experience first. The second star is the second star that comes below, right? So that means you experience the second star sometime, okay, in the last quarter of the year, right? So that's, if you look at it, there's two stars. Let me just show you my screen, okay? So if you look at it, there is two stars. I'll share my screen, right? So there is two stars, okay? So you do have your top stars, and then you do have the bottom stars, right? So the top stars suggests that all of this is going to come, is already arrived. It has already here. It's already here, okay? In fact, this month onwards, you probably already felt it, okay? Now, if you look at the second stars, then you probably will look at sometime in December or last quarter of the year. You do get this sort of energy coming in. So that's why this session is to get you guys planned out, so you know what to do for a bit, at least to the end of the year, moving on to next year, all right? I don't want you guys to be moving around, you know, aimlessly or just hoping for things to be right. You see, hope itself is not a very good solution. I never believe in just hoping for things to happen. A lot of things to make it happen. Heaven, man, earth, right? The man got to take control before the heaven and earth will give you the opportunities to manifest the outcome that you want. So that's one thing that you want to be looking at, right? Okay, so your question is good. Just keep all the questions coming, okay? So enjoy looking at a lot of questions, okay? Hi, Chris. Good to see you guys. Okay, so inside the blue box, okay, let me answer some of the questions here. So Felice was asking if I got direct officer, is it the same as 7 killing, meaning to stay at home? Yeah, somewhat. It is meant to be, there's more risk than usual. As long as you get the officer stars, there's usually more risk, right? So we don't want you guys to be taking that risk. 7 killing will get even more risk, right? So both are risks. It's just a matter of how much risk that you want to take. But I don't suggest you take any of this risk right now. But the officer star sometimes is good, right? For you to be making plans for your work environment. Usually when you got officer stars, your work environment will change. Like it or not, it will change, okay? So if you're not prepared and suddenly you'll be told that, hey, you know what? You are next on the retrenchment list. Or, you know, the company tell you that we run out of money to pay for wages, you got to go, right? So that's, you don't want to be in that sort of situation where you're not prepared. So if you already have officer stars, understand that such situation is possible, okay? So what can you do? If you really want to stay inside the same environment, then please produce more value to your current employee, right? This is what I'm saying. If you're doing sales, then try to understand how much it takes for a company to be paying you a salary. You have to be making, probably help the company to make like 5-folds, right? That's roughly the industrial standards, yes? So you still got to find ways to, you know, reach out for this value systems, that when your value is so much up here, right? The company will let go of people who is currently not delivering anything right now. They are only sitting at home, giving the COVID-19 as a virus reason for not doing anything. This is the first part of people that they will have to go, because the company cannot afford to pay them anymore, right? Because there's no value coming from this group of people, right? So then we have to go. This is what I always say is, when you are such a valuable person, okay, no one will get you out of the companies. It's almost ridiculous to get you out, because they have to hire 2 of you, right, to replace you for the amount of value that you're doing right now, okay? So yeah, some of you are saying the top half, second half. Well, yep, you can, not really so much about top half and second half. There's a certain timeline to that, okay? So if you look at the first one, it's roughly about this month onwards, okay? The second one, the stars is below, is sometime in the last quarter. Pay attention to that, all right? So, of course, I'm not going to talk so much about the clashes this year. So because some of this, I've designed this one, lesson 1 for you guys, okay? So if you just got started with me, lesson 1, just to get you understand little things first. Other sessions, as I got you guys progress better and better, then we can start to do more in depth, okay? We can start to talk about clashes, harm, destruction, whatever you guys want to learn. We can look at the science and get you guys understand your own directions in life in no time. This is what we want to do here, okay? So Now, if you have direct resource and indirect resource, so do you have them? Right, direct and indirect resource in the blue box. Okay, so figure out what do you have first, right? Direct and indirect resource. If you have them, just give me a yes. Okay, again, help me to like and share the post because we are going to help a lot more people out here. Okay, so every time we share a post, we're going to give a lot exposure to people who probably cannot afford a consultation right now. Okay, but at least they want some form of direction, which I think that is good to give them some sort of directions to look at. All right, so your sharing will help. Okay, will help a lot more people. Your sharing will help. Okay, so okay, cool. So Alex, direct resource, cool. Okay, and then we have Yixing, also indirect resource. Okay, that's great. All right. So yeah, seems quite a bit of you here have the direct resource star or indirect resource star. So here's the good news and okay, not so good news, right? But let's study what can you do with the stars. Now you see, direct resource and indirect resource stars is technically, I would say, some of the best time to be looking at learning a new skill sets. That's the first thing first. Okay, because usually in resource year, you don't want to waste this sort of period because your learning ability is crazy. Okay, so it just means that in a short amount of time, right, you are able to just master the skill sets. So perfect time, isn't it? Right now you have all the time in the world. I know some of you are still trying to cope at home with your children, with your work and what's not, but if you don't have time now, then what's going to happen if you go back to work, right? You're not even going to have more time, right? So if at home you don't have time, then you have to find time, or you have to be disciplined enough to find time. Okay, so technically, if you want to be looking at direct resource stars or indirect resource stars, first and foremost, scale up. Okay, that's the first keyword. Resource stars is for you to scale up, learn something that you can add value to your current skill sets. Okay, so maybe your current skill sets is you are a very good financial advisor. You know how to strategize your client portfolio so well and have them to take care 360, but you may not be articulate enough to talk to a lot of people on various platforms. Then I'll just suggest that maybe it's time to change that model, right? So right now, all I'm saying is whatever your information you're putting out there, if you can value at certain people, people will start to pay attention to you, like it or not. So example, look at the session I'm doing here, okay? Session like that, and after that, this will goes on to Facebook Live, and then you'll be archived, and then I'll upload a version of this. I'll put it out to YouTube, and then people will be, you know, how many views I can generate from all of this? Tens of thousands, okay? And if you look at all the fans, followers, although, you know, we're hitting 10 of thousands, there is also the active engagement, right? So all of this is going to buy you trust. It's going to be your ability to connect. Every time you can connect with people, you already establish yourself as an authority. Okay, so this is important because you want to be doing that. It doesn't matter that, you know, you think that you're not good with English. Just be yourself, because people at this stage, they want to connect with the real, authentic you, right? It's not you putting out a lot of fake things and fake news or whatever, makeup, or, you know, care less about that, right? Care more about the action to deliver. Okay, so some of the key right now is you have to learn how to go into probably collecting leads, right? So these days it's even financial advisor, you are doing roadshow is going to be off, right? So if you're not doing roadshow and what's not, then how are you still going to be collecting leads, right? So a session like that, there's a lot of way online to collect leads. In fact, just a Facebook session, you can be using a bot. Probably later I'll just show you guys how I can send you guys a PDF file. And this is with the help of some bots, right? So of course, if these are just some of the things that you can be helping to generate leads, you have to learn that. Okay, so it's not difficult because these days you got the internet. You can teach yourself skill sets within like a week or two. Okay, just follow the internet. There's a lot of walkthrough. It's completely possible. Now, resource stars also means that this year is also a year that you can reach out. So whether you need help from mentor, okay, or you need help from certain people, you need some supporters, right? Or you need to tap onto some abilities of other people, okay? This is a good year to tap. Okay, these are the power of resource stars. Resource stars technically coming in is to lend you support, right? But what I don't like about resource stars is this. Okay, so resource stars technically it's famous for slowing down action. Okay, so if you have the resource star this year, somewhat it's easy for you to say, hey, you know what, let's just complete that, Kingdom show on Netflix. All right, you probably might be looking at that. Okay, or let's complete some other things rather than doing whatever you're supposed to be doing, because resource star usually get you to relax, slow down. Okay, but if you use the slowing down to re-strategize, to relearn and replan, is good, all good, right? But if you use the slowing down to just sit there, be lazy, wait for the COVID-19 to be over, right? Stays at home, waste 2 months of the time. That's the 2 months of time you're not going to get back. Okay, so I'm just being a bit upfront and brutally honest with you guys. Okay, you don't want to waste time. All right, so a lot of the time that I've been doing is we've been doing a lot of video recording, trainings, procrastination. Yes, right. Frank was saying, is that procrastination? Okay, yes, in a way. Yep, you might be sitting on things. Okay, so resource stars, because resource stars means what? People give you the support and whatever you need, right? So you felt that it's not necessary for you to step out. You're in your comfort zone. That's the power of resource star. So usually people use resource star to tour the world and what's not, but of course you can't really do that at this point in time, right? So that is one of the key part of the things that I choose to talk about. All right, today is I want you guys to be, again, just a recap before I go into a Q&A, right? Just to recap, what are we doing here? Some of you, if you just join me towards the end of this session, maybe your kids just went to sleep, right? You just managed to join. It's okay. There's always a replay model that's available. Don't worry about the document here, because I'll give you guys a link on how to download the document. Okay, so one of the key things first is, today what we will be doing here is re-summarize, is to know what's the situation for the COVID-19, right? Now, of course, I'm not here to give you guys forecast, prediction, whether, no one is going to get a prize for predicting this rightly or wrongly, right? But probably if I'm going to say this is an actual prediction and then it doesn't go down to right to the dot, then a lot of you, the haters, will start to appear. I don't really care about the haters on that part, right? All I'm trying to tell you is, in terms of metaphysics, there are certain signs we can look at, right? 2019, I already made a post. It's on my Facebook page. If you need to go and find on a November post, 2019, I already make a post. I've stated that there'll be a lot of infectious diseases. A lot of people will be dying unnecessary, right? There'll be a lot of heart attacks, strokes. Okay, so when these things is about to come and what's not, these are the signs we can see. But of course, whether can we see it all to the way that it hits into recession, this and that, it takes a bit more than that. Okay, so that's the first. And to have a grip on the current situation, probably you look at a few stages of containment. So if you look at China, 75 days plus minus, they got it contained. So I probably hope that if everyone is doing their part, staying at home, right? Try not to go out if you don't have to go out. Don't take that risk, okay? And then what happens is, maybe pretty much around June, July, right? There's a little bit of containment, okay? A vaccine, I don't see a vaccine coming out that fast, because a lot of this vaccine have to go into clinical trial, and clinical trial has been known to be like a year or so. Maybe you can speed things up a bit, but I don't think it's going to be that fast, okay? So I think our action here is going to get it contained. But of course, because the water energy is heading all the way to 2021, it's still having water. So my only worries is we don't want to be complacent, and then there'll be a second wave upcoming in the last quarter of the year. And then that's one thing we don't want to be looking at, okay? So what we have been doing is, today is look at your Bazi chart, right? So if you have not been able to generate a Bazi chart, go to mybazi.info, generate your chart, generate this for your husband, your spouse, your children, okay, whoever, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, because you want to be helping each other, right? In such time, you don't stay apart, right? You want to be getting together, right? Supporting one another, because when this is over, people always remember who are there for them, right? So this is important, right? So stick together, right? And this is why we are doing all this extra training here, okay? It's free for you guys, the training, right? So we are looking at the 2020 elemental stars, there's supposed to be 2 stars in the blue box. Okay, so of course with the 2 stars in the blue box, we have gone through some of the stars, right? That is to help you to plan what is going to come your way for 2020. Of course, it's just one level. If we want to be reading a Bazi chart that is multiple more level, we can read. We can read clashes, harm, destruction. Is there a combination, right? Is there clashes? Is there interactions between other elements? There's a lot of things we can read, we can get information from. But of course, because you guys just got started today, right? I know some of you are beginners. I just designed this for you guys to be able to have it easy and to understand this mechanics. The information is, you see, knowledge is always powerful, but knowledge is powerful only if you take action. So if you learn this and then you take it as it's just some hoo-ha and this and that, you just leave it aside, then nothing is going to change, right? That's the sad truth. Okay, so now probably let me just take a bit of a question. Okay, so for the last, maybe some of you probably, I'm not sure, it's only 11:10. Okay, are you guys sleeping yet? So let me know your comments. Are you guys going to sleep yet soon? Okay, it's 11:10 right now. Okay, let me know what you guys usually sleeps, what time. Okay, so today live, I came on a little bit late. We started at about 10. Okay, so probably tomorrow I try to do maybe about 9 plus. Okay, or the next session we will do about 9 plus, if there's a good timing for you guys. Let me have your comments. Okay, so I guess a lot of us are going to be sleeping pretty late, right? So this is one part that I thought I would just have this a little Q&A. Okay, so for the last 5 minutes, feel free to punch in some of your questions. Okay, whatever questions that you have about this little training here. Okay, so I can actually take some of your questions and give you guys the tips. Okay, right. So Lim was saying that it's one in a lifetime you share valuable knowledge. Okay, because I have been doing a lot of international training. I've been traveling here and there, so I hasn't been able to go live. Okay, for quite a fair bit. I know that, right? But I'm still glad that a lot of you guys is tuning in. Thank you for the support, right? So of course, to thank you guys, that's why I've prepared a lot more information upcoming. I know some of you is already asking how you can be professional. Don't worry, we will have professional classes for you guys if you are interested. But at your level, if you want to take this all the way, we have all the courses that's already available. You can even do it in your learning in your free time. We have all online training that's already been done out. Okay, for our existing students, instructors, what happened the last probably a month plus, been actively doing recording nonstop, right? So as you can see, we even got our little studio set up a bit. Okay, so this is to be able to do more sharing. Okay, so with I'll be able to share more things. Bob can also share some of the stuff. All right, so thank you, Frank. Facebook Live is lively. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so of course, okay, let me just take a questions from Eric Ong. Yeah, so Eric, I see that you have a Pakwa logo as your profile photo. I guess you probably have a bit of knowledge in this. Okay, so what kind of difference if DW or 7K has favorable star compared to unfavorable? Okay, so now technically to me, all stars have both sides. They are both usable and unusable at certain times. Of course, to me, it's good to know what is the broad picture. Okay, because the term favorable, of course, I don't want to take it to that advanced level that some of you got clouded. Okay, now when Eric is asking favorable, because in Bazi we always look at balancing of element. Okay, so if a chart is balanced, then certain element is favorable, then some element is not favorable. Now that is if you only look at the natal chart. Of course, when you go to a higher level, you realize that even the sun and the moon, they don't stay fixed at a given position. Okay, so similarly, if you do Bazi reading on a high level, you realize that certain stars that used to be favorable can become unfavorable because of certain interchange of certain year energy and the month energy, right? So you just have to know what is the star difference That means what happens when the stars is favorable and what happens when the star is not favorable. So I hope that I answer your question on that, right? So that is to let you know that don't always think that a star is bad is always bad. Okay. Sometimes even 7 killing, it can be unfavorable in the chart in the initial beginning. Certain years or certain luck pillar, okay, when it comes in. Now we talk about luck pillar. Tomorrow I'll be going in depth a bit on luck pillar to show you guys on what you can be looking at in terms of experience. Okay. So 7 killing, even when the times has turned favorable, 7 killing can actually earn you crazy amount of money. Okay, especially so if you have rock wealth. Okay, entering a 7 killing period, countering the friend star and the rock wealth combining away, that's going to go crazy on money, right? So that's some of the advanced stuff. Okay, so what to expect for the second half? Okay, let me just look at these questions coming from N. So what to expect from second half? Okay, so here's a few things. I've mentioned that we're not likely going to see the economy going back to normal or being a norm so fast. Okay, so there are certain reasons for that. It's because if you look at the economy right now, everything is going a little bit haywire. It probably takes a bit of time to come back, and usually in water year there's a lot of fear in the environment. So it's not that people completely have no money right now. It's just that people is scared to spend probably. Okay. But of course, not everyone is going down that road. We have been working consultations with a lot of high net worth individuals of clients of ours. They have been doing big purchases, buying huge properties, huge lands, buying hotels, because these are the time you can get very great deals when the market is in a very fearful environment. Okay, so second half, expect things technically to be still going down. Okay, but understand this. You see, when the economy is not doing well, does it mean everyone stops making money? So that's the first thing you need to ask yourself. Okay, so my take is, if even the economy is not doing well, there's some people that's making tons of money. They're making a killing out there. Okay, and even when the economy is doing very well, there are some people who's not having it well. That's why it's important to look at your Bazi chart, because your Bazi chart technically give you the signs. Okay, so you don't just look at economy per se, you look at what are the signs that's coming in your chart. So that's why it's important to really know every aspect of your chart. Okay, so second half, we're going to expect things is not going to come back as per normal. It's going to eat into 2021, unfortunately. Okay, 2022, this is maybe where I see economy slightly going on a recovery track. So from right now, 2021 is the current economy will be going on a retraction model. Okay, so some people is asking about, okay, let's see. Lo is asking about the market direction, okay, or which market is good in terms of investment views. Now, I think it's a very good market for insurance. I think it's a good market for trust. Okay, anything that's trust, insurance, probably family office, right? Real estates. Okay, so if you look at it this year, these are some of the markets you want to be looking at. So why is that so? It's because of the element that comes into place. Okay, so you look at study the year element. These are some of the good perspective we'll be looking at. Right. So, and of course, some of you is asking about, wow, this is a political question, yeah. So Jackson is asking about, how about this year for the government of okay, if you look at my post on Facebook, I've posted that okay, some time ago there was an eclipse. Okay, so during the eclipse, it's an eclipse of the sun, it's not eclipse of the moon. Right? So when I post about the eclipse, technically we always look at eclipse of the sun as a bad omen, as a bad sign. Right? It has been that since for a very long time. It's not only now that I'm starting to talk about this thing. So when I talk about that, and the country that get to see the eclipse in full, that means it's not a quarter, it's a full eclipse. Usually are the country that will be in a little bit of a troublesome session, okay, a troublesome economy. So if you look at it, in Singapore, we actually got a full eclipse. And my advice was, please don't go out and get yourself with the eclipse. But a lot of people is thinking otherwise. They like to go out and take photos. Okay, we do have some haters that are saying that there's nothing wrong with this. These are all bullshit and what's not. This is what we are looking at here. You see, in terms of Eclipse, it seems to be coming on Singapore, and Singapore right now, we are not in a very good position. But I think the government is doing a lot best as they can right now to contain the dormitory situation. Okay, so if you're looking at that, that will be one of the key challenges. That's why I say the eclipse always bring the sign. And in fact, it's not too far away. I think it's just a few months away that the eclipse happened. And then eventually we see the huge challenge that actually came. Okay, so this is why we study metaphysics, right? So metaphysics, doesn't matter if you study Western astrology, Chinese astrology, or even Vedic astrology, right? So everything there are signs that the ancient sages studied for a long time. All right, and these are things that will give you some indication on how is it moving, right? So Lim was actually saying that stocks downturn is actually a good opportunity to invest. Yeah, in fact, I do know there's a lot of people buying very cheap stocks right now. If you know what are the stocks to purchase, okay. So, and of course, technically, if you say that right now should you invest in every stocks, but that's my take with stocks. You don't want to guess the market direction. If you for anything about stocks, you probably want to give yourself more financial education in terms of understanding how the company is performing by looking at their balance sheet, their track records, their products, their long-term feasibilities, and what's not, right? Because a lot of people will be kind of like hoping certain stocks will go down in their favor. That's like gambling to me. You don't want to do any of this gambling and speculation because you could get yourself hurt, right? So things like contra leverage, you can if you really know what you're doing. If not, then be very careful. Yeah. Okay. So Janice was saying that why people don't see the eclipse is also involved. Okay, this is what we are saying, that okay, when the eclipse happen on the country level, country will be in probably a more challenging position. Now, if people get themselves exposed to the eclipse directly, then it means that you will have to you probably be facing a little bit more challenging situation in this year. Like example, some people got retrenched and some people lost their job, and their colleague get to stay in the same, doing the same thing and what's not. So that was what I was actually saying, that you don't want to expose yourself to the eclipse due to the energy level is going to affect you with a more challenging level. Now, if you look at Vedic astrology, currently we are having Saturn in Capricorn. So that's Saturn in their own house. Saturn is one of the most oldest planet. It's one of the disciplinarian planet right now, and having Saturn in own house is the most that's the most powerful position he can be right now, you see. And this cycle plus minus is going to be around for 2 years, right? So in this current movement, if you look at whether you're looking at Vedic astrology, you look at Bazi and whatever per se, everything is pointing to people needs to be disciplined. People needs to get back to some of the basics things that they're doing, right? So that's one of the key things. Okay. So right. So let's take maybe 2 more questions. Okay, before I teach you guys how to really get the PDF file. Right. Okay. So this is coming from Jane. Right. So Jane is saying that does it mean that this year water is bad for people with matter and fire? No, not necessarily, Jane. Because in every chart that we are reading, it just means that there has to be a balance of element. Okay. Now, if you don't have, example, water element in your chart, and then this year the water element comes, it just means that you have to be prepared for things that is not the norm, right? You just got to be prepared for things that's unexpected, because this is not your usual routine, right? Not your usual energy. Okay, so it doesn't mean that if you have matter and fire, you don't want water. It doesn't mean that way. There are certain people with fire and matter, they still need a lot of water to balance up the chart. So this is what we actually meant, that in such year, this is very good luck energy for them. Okay, right. So is there anything can be done to those that were exposed to the eclipse? Well, okay, so if you're not exposed, you're really exposed. You can't do anything about that. What we want to do is the future, right? So the future is, of course, you want to make sure that you know what's going on in terms of your party chart, so you make good decision. So every good decisions that you make will kind of lessen the amount of errors that's going to come out. Okay, so that's the first aspect. Second aspect is you can tap onto feng shui. Okay, feng shui is one level of energy that you can use it to kind of mitigate whatever is whatever happened to you. So whatever it says bad luck, this and that, and everything, you can use feng shui as a level to mitigate. That's how we do it in terms of solution, right? So there's no point in saying that, oh, I'm very exposed, how to unexpose. There's no such thing as unexposed. Okay, so if it really happened, then you have to pull energy from a different source to make sure that it balances you up. So that is some of the things that we are looking at here. Okay, so picking up one last questions. Okay, so keep the questions coming. It's been very nice Friday evening chatting with you guys. Okay, I hope the voice is coming out good. Okay, I'm having a mic right in front of me, so it's just to give better clarity to the voice. Right, all right. So, and of course, probably I can take one last questions before I give you guys how do you download the guides. Okay, is staying indoor to prevent exposure. Okay, if you're talking about eclipse, yes. If you stay indoor, you're not exposed to the eclipse. Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Yes, but if you're talking about the COVID-19, then it just means that yeah, you shouldn't even want to step out in the first place, right? Because here's the thing: there's a lot of people who are not showing symptom. They could be out on the street. And that's the last thing you want. But of course, just now I did mention that you look at your party chart. If you have the officer star, or if you have the wealth star, that means you have the direct wealth star or indirect wealth star, you are the group that is more vulnerable to all of this sort of infection. Okay, that's the first sign you want to be looking at. All right. So if you look at that, that is good enough to tell you that you should be staying at home. Don't take that risk, please. Okay. I want you guys to be healthy and staying on. You still got a family for you, so no point in taking that sort of risk, right? So all good. Okay, so I can still see there's still a lot of questions coming. Okay, no worries. This is not the only Facebook live session I'll be doing. In fact, as government has already announced, right, the next they may or may not lift it even at the 1st June. Okay, it got to wait and see whether they're going to lift the stay-at-home restriction. All right, so okay, let me just show you how you can download the PDF file, right? Okay, just give me a sec here. Okay, so to download the files, what you have to do is technically this. You can, okay, tries to, let me just show this part, yeah? Okay. All right, so you try to comment. Okay, I'm testing this out, so I'm not sure whether it's going to work yet. The team has already set this up. I just need to get it live here. I mean, I don't have the team with me. They set it up remotely for me. So comment, okay, or you can key in growth 2020 in the comment, okay, or key in growth 2020. You should be able to have a Facebook Messenger that will send you the PDF file. All right, so this is what the team told me that what would happen. Okay, so yeah, comment growth 2020, okay, or key in growth 2020 together as one word, right? So don't separate. Yeah, it has to be together, right? Together as one word. And then it should trigger that. If not, then the system will probably trigger at a later time. Okay, so do the growth 2020. The Facebook Messenger will probably drop you a message. Just say yes, and then it will point you to a location to do the download of your PDF file. Okay, right? So not sure that if the Facebook Messenger has sent you anything. Can you comment? Okay. Do you receive anything from Facebook Messenger? All right. So remember the growth 2020 have to be together, right? You don't put a space in between. Okay. So put growth 2020, key in. What will happen? It will do some detection. Okay. This is just a quick guide for you. Basically what I've done for this session. All right. So as you see, technically what will happen is if you actually do the training to understand further, some of you is asking that is there more in-depth training? that I can be teaching you guys. There is, okay. So do the growth 2020, and then if not, then what will happen is the growth board or technically will send you the PDF file in a while, right? But once you have it, we will try to get the file to you guys, right? So tomorrow, what will we be discussing here? That is this, okay? So tomorrow, okay, so some of you has already, it worked, you downloaded, okay? So make sure it's growth 2020, yeah? Yeah, so you see, so some of you has already downloaded, so I guess it worked, right? So what happened is you will receive a prompt from Facebook Messenger. You need to go to Facebook Messenger, right? And then it would show you what to do to get the file. And then it will send you, you just click it and send it directly. Okay, so I don't have to be sending to every one of you separately. So right now, you see, this is the power of technology, all right? So it probably goes to some detection. So you have not received it yet, probably wait a while, okay? So growth 2020, okay? So I guess some of you has been already downloaded, okay? So this is coming from Vaughn. It worked, okay? So Ron Lee has also downloaded, okay? So yeah, so it probably there's a timer. Yeah, I'm not sure how the software is going to get everything to you, but apparently it should work. Okay, so some of you has already got this. So using that, this is how I'll be doing a lot of seminar style distribution to you. Of course, some of you is asking me a bit more on, you want to do this professionally to learn more. Yeah, sure. I will drop you guys more information. Okay, I will even give you guys a huge discount. Right, we have in fact, we have a $497 USD program. I intend to only just price it at 97. This is it, because I know a lot of you guys is trying to get directions right now. I'm trying not to get you guys spend too much, okay? Probably just enough to get the level that you want, right? Once you get there, you want to go serious, you want to go practitioner level, we have everything all prepared for you. But most importantly is you guys rock, right? Really, you guys rock. So what I want to probably sign off before I go to start tomorrow's session, okay? So it's this, okay? Always remember, right? In this current environment, please keep a lookout for each other, right? So don't be selfish. If you can even, lend strength to your neighbors, to your relative, to anyone around you, okay? There are really a lot of people that is getting hit very hard on the ground. Okay, so if some of us, we have been lucky enough to be able to stay at home comfortably, right? We don't have to worry so much. You still got a job, all right? That's great for you. Try to reach out to more people, give them a lending hand. It doesn't matter that you only help like $5, $10 to whoever that you're helping, but understand this. You see, in metaphysics, every person that you can help, okay, it always generates a cycle. Okay, you want to talk about karma, it generates a cycle. Every cent that you help, it will not, be for nothing, right? You will get all the support suddenly back one day, and you have no idea how this people is willing to help you. It's all because you started somewhere. Okay, so I thought that this is important, that we should all keep each other empowered right now to know what to do, to be clear, to get clarity. Right? There's no time to be crying, to be making bad decisions, throwing in temple. This is the worst time ever, right? So just get yourself in the highest positive energy level that you can, right? And just to make sure that everything will start to work well in your way. So you must be able to set the intention. So intention is important, right? So for some of you that's still getting the file, just key in growth 2020 together as one word, okay? You should be able to get it up. All right, so the messenger will probably send you in a while. Okay, it's a Facebook messenger will probably send you, right? So if you not, you probably got to key that in. Okay, so if not, I'll still give you another session for tomorrow for you guys to download the files. No worries. Okay, so tomorrow I'll be discussing a bit more on other aspects of the chart. So keep learning, stay strong, and I'll see you guys. Ciao.